This is John Black, Super Living. I was going to go over my book, but I've been stuck in bed for about 2 weeks now, and I thought maybe this would be a better video. Maybe it could help somebody at least. And keep in mind, this is a 15-minute video. You know what I mean? This isn't for everybody. It's just a suggestion. You know, if your depression is beyond, you know, there's sometimes where I can't get up for a second, you know, back in the day. Basically, it's about 15 minutes. You know what I mean? If you're laying in bed or you're depressed and you can't get motivated, you should try to, even if it's 5 minutes. This is what I do. I do 15 minutes. I say get up at least for 15 minutes, for God's sakes. You got all day to get up for 15 minutes. You can't get up for 15 minutes. And, you know, some days, like this last 2 weeks, I got up a couple times for 15 minutes, and, you know, that was it. But as the second week came, you know, I got up a few times for the 15 minutes, and it kind of stuck a little bit, you know what I mean? And I got to doing whatever, and, you know, I was doing stuff for longer, for a half hour or whatever. But eventually, it's, you know what I mean? You get up for that 15 minutes. Maybe not the first day, maybe not the second day, maybe even the first few days you don't even get up and do it. But eventually, if you tell yourself every day, do it, you'll eventually do it, hopefully, after a couple days, maybe, if you're lucky. And, you know, a couple days after that, maybe you'll get up for 30 minutes, even though you're just trying 15 minutes, you know what I mean? And hopefully it'll get you out of, it's basically about just, if you go through the motions, if you take your body through the motions of getting up out of bed and going and, you know, cleaning something, cleaning your house or whatever, you know, that's what it's about, basically. It's about, once your body starts doing that, your mind will sync up with your body, kind of, or it could, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that this is foolproof by any means. So if you do find yourself, you know, you're a depressed personality, and you find yourself, you know, back in bed, and, you know, you're just laying there, you're not doing nothing, hey, you're miserable either way. You lay in bed, you're still miserable for that 15 minutes. You get up, guess what? You're still miserable. But you know what? You've moved towards, you've done something at least to help you move towards being not depressed. Alright, so now you get out of bed for 15 minutes. You know, maybe you clean something in the room. You know, you can look at that inside the room and be like, well, at least I look at that, you know, even if you don't, so if you don't consciously, your subconscious will look at that, and it will trigger something, you know what I mean? And the next day, you know, maybe you still feel just as bad, but your subconscious will feel better. That's what it's all about, is making your subconscious feel better so that it can, you know, trigger your conscious. That's it. You know, you get up the next day again, you know, you might still feel bad. You do 15 more minutes. You know, and you can do it twice a day. You know what I mean? Say I'm going to do it 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes, and, you know, 3 times a day. You know, or less, 5 minutes, whatever. But as long as you get up and do something, you move towards your goal. Now, one of those times you get up and maybe you'll get carried away and you'll be going for a couple hours doing something, and then, you know, you get over that hump. Things will start to look good. Your conscious will start to sync up with your body. You know what I mean? Your body's getting up, it's doing stuff. Now your conscience, it wants to sync up. It doesn't like to be unsynced like that. You know what I mean? That's stressful, and it would rather sync up. I'm not saying this works for everybody. I'm just saying it's a method, and you can change it, you know, the times, and, you know, to be less or more of a goal to get up and do something. It doesn't have to be some major thing. It just has to be getting up. That's why I started my hobby of chemistry, you know, and I started up the channel, my original channel, because that's basically the cure. And I'm not saying, you know, you might have a chemical imbalance where you need medication, or, you know what I mean. So keep that in mind. This is just a video, I'm not a doctor or whatever. I'm just telling you about my experience and what could help you. But that's what it's all about. If you can't get your mind to be healthy and happy, you can take your body and make it start doing activities that will make the brain want to sync up with that activity. You know what I mean? If you're laying in bed crying, then your brain is going to sync up to that. You know what I mean? But if you're doing something, you know what I mean? You get up, you do something, uh, your brain wants to sync up to that too. You know, and it looks at that as something positive. You know what I mean? A lot of things are self-prophesizing. You know what I mean? And if you self-prophesize too long, you start believing your prophecies. If you think about it, everybody does it. If a kid, you know, is in high school and he wants to be a doctor or whatever, he says, "I'm going to be a doctor," or "I'm going to be this," or "I'm going to be that." He's prophesizing right there. He's self-prophesizing, and he's going to do what it takes to get there. You know what I mean? It's the same on the opposite side. If you're saying that you're going to be dead in 5 years, you know, or you want to be dead, or you know, you keep saying these negative things, or you keep laying in bed all the time, you know, even if it's just watching TV, it's not really healthy, because your brain wants to sync up to that, and you always like things that are familiar, and if something gets too familiar, even if it's bad, you know, if you've been child abused, a lot of times a child abuse victim will like that, even though it's terrible, they'll like it in their adult life or whatever, you know what I mean? Because it's a familiar thing, and you know, your subconscious clings on to familiar things. So you just, if you get up and you're doing something, you're giving your body, if that is familiar now, getting up is familiar, not laying in bed. Laying in bed is familiar, then your brain starts to sync up to that. So you can't make your brain happy. At least try to get your body up so that it will force your brain to sync up to that familiarity of getting up and doing, you know what I mean? It may take years, you know what I mean? That's why, you know, people that are happy, what do? They have hobbies, they do stuff, you know what I mean? That's why I got the chemistry or whatever. And eventually, I started getting more happy about it and liking, you know what I mean? It does help, but you have to trick your brain by using your body to get out there and at least get up. It starts with just getting up for 1 second. That's all. 1 second, and you just keep building on that. Try and, you know, do 2 seconds next time. Do 5 seconds. That's all I'm saying, though. But this is basically the cure for anything. I mean, if you want to be in the Olympics, you know, you tell yourself, "I'm going to be in the Olympics." It doesn't mean you're going to make it, because, you know, you have realities of not everyone can be in the Olympics. But you know what I'm saying? If you have a goal, you have to self-prophesize that goal. You have to say it. You have to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a whatever." And then your body, you know, it's all about self-prophecy. You know what I mean, too. You have to self-prophesize. And if you want to self-prophesize negative, then negative things are going to come, because you're prophesizing it. You will make sure it happens. Just like if it's positive, you will make sure by, you know, if you want to be a doctor or whatever, then you go to study, you go whatever, you know what I mean? You just want to have a job or whatever, then you get up and you start doing, you know, go towards that goal. Always remember, life is what you make it, so make it great.